Yo, what's good, guys? We are back at it again with another MLB The Show video for you guys, and today's video may be familiar to some of you, but a lot of new faces are here on the channel, and so this may be a new type of video for you guys. So today's topic is going to be kind of a check-in video, check-up video, kind of letting you guys know where you need to be in the season if you're gunning for certain goals, like finishing the XP path to get all 3 bosses, which everybody should be, you know, at least working towards that. That should be the end goal. And then stuff like season collector, right? Everybody probably could use at least one of the season collection cards, maybe not all 3, maybe it's not realistic for allow you guys to get all 3, but I do want to show you guys where I am at as somebody who makes content on the game, as somebody who plays the game almost every day for at least some amount of time. So I get that that is not typical for you guys, and I'm not saying that's where you need to be, but I'm kind of saying relative to me, this is where I would want to be if I am looking to finish these things. So I want to keep you guys up to date on where you kind of need to be in the XP path and collection, and how you can go about catching up, or if you are already in a good spot, how you can get even more XP. So if you see my squad, we have the Holy Trinity here. We have Pettit, we have Rollins, and we have Larry Walker all nice and lined up. So I have finished the XP path. We're going to mute real quick so that awful lightning sound doesn't play the whole time. You can see that I am starting to work on this 30k respin wheel at this point. I have not got a full one yet, but should get some pretty juicy rewards out of that. If we get another double XP day, oof, wow, we are going to be earning a lot of those. So that's going to be huge. But relative to me, right, I am at 1.156 mil. I know there's guys that are probably further than me. There's guys that have had the bosses since like the 3rd week of the game being out, because they just sat there and ran mini seasons on repeat. But for most people, you will be either completing the path now if you've been on every day, or if you are a more casual player, you're probably a little bit behind this. So realistically, I would say more or less where you want to be, right? You can see we have 38.5 days left as of the time of you guys seeing this video. So, you know, the season was about 90 days. So we are a little bit over halfway through. So I think where you really want to be, if your end goal is just to complete the XP path, is probably between like Story and Rollins. If you're at Billy Williams, you're in a great spot. But if you're at Rollins, if you're at Story, you probably got to, you know, keep your nose down and kind of start to grind out some of these programs and other ways of getting XP that I will show off. If you are at Palmer and Napoli, maybe it's not time to start hitting the panic button, but you got to pick it up just a little bit. You got to hit the daily XP cap certain days, you know, start running some of these mini seasons and other stuff that I'm going to show you. And if you are under this, boy, you have a lot of catching up to do. It's going to be tough. I'm not going to say it's impossible, because who knows how much XP SDS is going to be handing out. But if you are just now getting to Soriano, you're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to grind to get there. So I think we can unmute now, hopefully. And I'm going to break down the ways you can go about getting XP. If you are deficient in XP, if you're behind, one of the best ways to get there is some of the new programs that came out. They handed out XP. You can see with the Bellinger, the Show Classics program, you got 8,000 there, you got 8,000 there, you got 8,000 there, 8,000 there, and 8,000 there. So I think that's around 36,000, something like that. Not 100% sure, didn't sit there and count everyone. You can see this season awards drop in particular, they did not just hand out XP left and right in the previous ones. I think it was like just the big player got XP. Yeah, so you didn't earn anything for these smaller ones. It was just that end player, that boss. And now they're just kind of handing out XP. 4,000 here, 4,000 there, 4,000 there, 4,000 there, 4,000 there. So that's another like, you know, 20-ish thousand, something like that. The steer drop, you can see none of these others have that. So these two are going to give you the most XP. But all of these programs give you some XP. You can see the spring breakout one, for some reason doesn't give you any after James Wood, but you know, that's still like 16, 20,000 right there. Egg Hunt gives you a good amount. I mean, this is back to back 4,000s. So once you get Yelich, you're right there, 4,000 there. for the egg icon. So you can see there's a lot of XP just in programs. If you haven't been doing your programs, you can kind of rest easy knowing there is a good chunk of XP still available for you there. And it looks like, I don't know if it was just because these two dropped on the double XP weekend and they wanted to reward people more, or if this is just the direction that programs are going in the future, if all the programs for the rest of the season are going to hand out this much XP. If that's the case, it's going to be a great way for a lot of you guys to catch up on XP moving forward. We can hope that it's going to be that way, but I won't get your hopes up with the way SDS has been this year. But, you know, we won't really know until that happens. Team Affinity, there is a good chunk of XP here, probably not as much as there should be. Each boss pack gives you 750. You know, you can do the math. There is 30 per each, so you have 60 total Team Affinity players you can earn, each that gives 750 XP. I would do the math, but I have something up on my calculator already. So that's probably a decent chunk. It's not a bad amount there. Other than that, right, you have your you know, splits, your season reset things like ranked. You can see in ranked right now, for completing the path, you're getting 10,000. You're getting 5,000 here, 5,000 here, 2,500 here, and so on. There is a ton of XP in the ranked path. If you haven't touched this, you have 10 more days. They're relatively easy. Most of this stuff just involves playing a decent amount. So you can get that done pretty easily, and there's stuff there for co-op if you just play co-op. I'm not sure how far you can make it. I don't think you can make it to the end of the ranked path just by doing co-op, but you can get some progress if you do enjoy co-op. BR wise, there's a good chunk in BR. You can see there's 5K here that I'm like one game off of. 3K there, 3K there, 3K there, 3K there, 3K there. So you can see how much this stacks up. So if you are skipping any mode in the game, even events doesn't have as much. I think I counted this earlier and there's 10,000 in this event. But if you are skipping any of the main online game modes, you are losing out on XP. Which is funny because SDS said this year that they wanted to kind of make it even amongst online and offline players. So not exactly the most true thing in the world, but if you are playing all of your modes, you're in a good spot XP wise. A lot of online players have probably not touched mini seasons. This is a great way to get a good chunk of XP. This is how I got my Rollins. Without it, I probably would not be there yet. You can see that this classic one is a one-time repeatable. You cannot spam it anymore. You used to be able to just do it over and over in the past. So gives you 25,000, assuming you do all the goals. So that is a awesome chunk of XP. That is more than your daily XP cap. And if you're playing a full mini season in one day, you'll probably hit your XP cap anyway. You can see this Legend and Live series. This is the brand new one that came out. It's giving you 60,000 XP. It's giving you a Bob Feller, and it's also giving you some small legend cards, which will help with collections and stuff, or stubs if you want to go that route with them. And then Team Affinity 1, by far the least rewarding one, but it's still 15,000. It's still an entire daily XP cap. If you are somebody who has missed a lot of days or not came close to hitting the XP cap on a lot of days, these can go a long ways in starting to make up some of that progress that you've been missing out on. And then other than that, there is some XP in collections, which brings us to our next point, which is the collection. So I'm going to show you guys where I'm at. You can see I am at 200. I just got to lighter. So I am probably behind a lot of the people that you see. I know Chev has Willie Mays already. I know Rebel has George Brett. So there's a lot of people that are a lot further ahead than me, but I'm going from a more realistic approach for most players. I am valuing stubs. Stubs are damn near impossible to make this year. It's very difficult to rack up stubs if you're not doing roster investments or if you're not constantly flipping. The only reason I have remotely close to the amount of stubs and quality of players that I do is because I'm smart with my stubs and because I'm a top % player that can, you know, make World Series and stuff like that. Without that, I would be broke. I would not have any stubs. So value your stubs. They are hard to make. Do not just willingly give them away to SDS. You know, don't go out of your way and instantly lock in this DeGrom the moment you get him. Don't go buy this Jordan Alvarez and lock him in. Don't lock in Nico Goodrum, because in 3 weeks' time, these cards are going to maybe not be worthless, but they will not be worth near what they are anymore. this Nico Goodrum will get put in the vault pack. He will get his pack will get re-released. He's going to go the Castellanos route, where he loses a third of his value or 2/3 of his value overnight. So be careful about who you lock in. That being said, I think everybody should comfortably be at Rich Arulia by now. By my calculations, there is 113 easily attainable cards in the game right now. That is from doing all the programs. That is from finishing Team Affinity and stuff like that. That is not regarding the low cards that you earn in BR or any ranked season rewards, anything like that. That is just those very easily attainable ones. That's not counting mini season rewards like the new Konerko, Bob Feller, the old like Salvador Perez, any of those, not accounting for any of that. So I think everybody should be at Rich Arulia. You know, you're also getting Biggio and Franco, so that's actually 114 easily attainable cards. So everybody should be at Rich Arulia. Everybody should be getting close to lighter. So if you have stubs to spare, I don't think it's bad to lock in for lighter, because when I go down this list, you're going to see there's some relatively cheap players. The players from this BR drop are pretty cheap. There's no reason you shouldn't own pretty much all of these golds that come out of standard packs. Might as well go buy those if you haven't pulled them by this point. A lot of the BR rewards are relatively cheap. They're about 2,500 subs each, and it does add up, but overall they're relatively cheap. These low cards from these choice packs that they handed out all willy-nilly at the last Team Affinity drop, they are basically quick sell value. I think they quick sell for either 2,250 or 2,200. So you can see that they are basically quick sell. You can go buy them for quick sell. And then other than that, you know, you have your captains. If you didn't know about the captain kind of collection glitch, you can collect them, re-exchange them, pick a different captain, collect that one. So that's an extra 4 cards or 3 cards, I guess, that you would get over just collecting your current captain. You have relatively cheap event rewards you can go buy, like Barry Larkin and stuff. But I would stay away from locking in cards like Ottavino. You know, stay away from locking in really anybody that you have stubs in that you're not buying just to lock in for this. I would be very cautious of. Like for me, right? Where's he at? I was looking for John Donaldson because, yeah, here he is, 91. So I've had this card since the day the game came out. He is still not locked in because I knew he would maintain at least some value. It's a valuable card to own, and who knows how much he could go up in the future. So might as well not lock in for him. I have not locked in my Randy Johnson. I haven't locked in... Really, the only expensive card I locked in was Ian Happ, and that was a mistake. I would not lock in these captains. Locking in these captains would be incredibly dumb to do at the moment, just because you do not know how these are going to evolve. They will pretty much always go for more than 40k. Once this pack is removed from the store, you're going to see their price go up a good amount, 50, 60k, something like that. Down the road, there may be flash sales, or SDS might just hand out one of these packs. You never know. But you also don't know how meta these teams will be, right? Last year, Ripken came out. There was a couple decent players that made the Ripken team, nobody crazy. As the year evolved, we started to see more and more and more cards that fit to where Ripken became the only team boost that anybody was running. You do not know how these are going to evolve. They could gain insane amounts of value. These cards could go for 100k, 200k, 300k down the road. You do not know, so I would not lock in these captains. I would be cautious of that. And these choice cards, right? These choice pack cards like Nico Goodrum, do not lock these in. The best course of action is always to kind of sell these the day before they're added to vault packs, or the day before their pack will be re-released, if you do know when that is. And then buy them back the day after, 1 day, 2 days after, something like that. Save your stubs. Chase cards like Jordan are relatively safe. You know, they will get outclassed eventually, but they will still keep their value for the most part. But yeah, that's where you guys should be. I think you can be in a very good spot in the season right now if you're above 500,000 XP. And if you have collected 120 plus cards. If you can get to lighter, I think you're in a great spot. But I do think there is a lot of wiggle room on the collection. Now, if you want this icon, then probably not. You probably will have to own almost every single card. But for the most part, there's a lot of wiggle room. You can see there's 75 cards between that icon and the last boss pack that you'll have to get. So lots of wiggle room. You will not have to own that many cards. You can wait probably until like the last few days of the season, and they may do like a best of pack, or they may drop a bunch of new programs. We'll probably get another monthly program, so that'll be a couple new cards there. We'll keep getting Tops Now drops, stuff like that. So I think, you know, relatively one boss, two bosses should be pretty easily acquirable. You may have to spend a couple subs if you do want that third one. If you do want my opinion on which ones are the most important, I think Willie Mays and Brett are 1A, 1B. It just kind of depends on what your team needs. Realistically, will we see a better third baseman than George Brett this season? Probably not, because when you think about who historically in MLB The Show is better than like a George Brett, we probably won't get like a Chris Bryant or anybody like that. I don't know if Josh Donaldson's even still in the game. Usually Mike Schmidt has really bad contact numbers. Really, you're looking at like Jose Ramirez, who I don't think will get a 99. Not this season anyway. And then you're looking at a guy like Chipper, right? But since they dropped the baby Chipper, I think they're kind of teasing that. I do not think we will see a 99 Chipper this season. That seems more like an XP boss or a collection boss in a future season. So I think George Brett will probably comfortably be the best third baseman in this season of the game, and probably one of the better ones we get all year. But you also can't argue with Willie Mays. You can see his stats are incredibly well-rounded. I think his swing is mostly improved. And I think if you're just taking one of these bosses to wild card next season to have on your team, it's probably going to be Willie Mays, because we all remember how bad the center field defense was at the start of this season. If you want to avoid that, I cannot blame you for taking Willie Mays. I think the only wrong choice is Satchel. This card's just not very good. His hits are not that much higher than the guy like, you know, Leiter, like Noah, you know, guys like that. So his hits aren't much higher, his control isn't much higher, and his pitching clutch isn't much higher than a guy like Jacob deGrom. So we're going to start getting pitchers that are arguably better than Satchel Paige pretty soon. I do not know about Willie Mays and George Brett, but who knows what we will get. We still have another BR drop that will probably be 99 overalls, and we have another rank drop that will probably be 99 overalls. So yeah, guys, that is it. That is my checkup video. Kind of just letting you know where you should be if you are aiming for some of these goals. You do not have to be where I am, but if you do want to get to where I'm at, you might have some catching up to do. I just kind of want to help you guys keep pace and, you know, get you where you want to be. So till next time, peace.